Hey everyone, Pete Warner here with your Diz Daily Fix for Monday, October 22nd, 2018. Here is what's happening today. Last week we told you about a pending decision by the Bahamian government as to whether or not Disney Cruise Line would be allowed to acquire land for another private island. Well, the Bahamas Economic Council has approved Disney Cruise Line's proposal to develop at Lighthouse Point. So there will be, at least right now, another private island coming in the not too distant future for guests of Disney Cruise Line. The Economic Council said it took into account all of the concerns of the local residents about the environmental impact and other things. But at the end of the day, they said that Disney's record with environmental issues has been very, very good. They're very happy, especially at Castaway Cay, with the way Disney has handled themselves. But they also said this is privately owned land. Disney has an agreement with the landowner, and it is not really the purview of the Crown, as they call themselves, to interfere. So right now, this project is allowed to move forward. I don't know about you. I'm extremely excited at the thought of there being another private island in the Bahamas for Disney Cruise Line because, wow, they did a great job with Castaway Cay. So very interested to see what they do with this. Now, on the other side of that, the Bahamas has also decided that it is going to cut off monetary incentives for cruise lines that stop in their ports. For many years, the Bahamas has spent upwards of $14 million a year incentivizing cruise lines to stop in ports, especially like Nassau and Freeport. However, I'm sorry, $12 million a year, not 14. But according to one of their ministers, quote, "Why are we paying them to bring cruise passengers to our port and then finding that many of these passengers are not getting off the ship?" And if you've been to the Bahamas, you know this is true. I'm one of those people. I really don't get off the ship because it's not pretty. It's not nice. I'm sorry. It just isn't. And, you know, it's kind of grungy and not a lot of great shops. And, you know, so what they want to do is they want to take that $12 million a year and invest it in improving their ports. And I got to be honest, the cruise lines make plenty of money. They don't need the incentive. But that area, those port areas, especially Freeport and Nassau, really, really need that development. I think that's going to do better in the short term and the long term for the locals and for cruise passengers. So I actually applaud this decision for them to put more money into developing those ports. Now, on a much sadder, scary note regarding cruise lines, a jury trial is set to start November 13th for a lawsuit against Royal Caribbean, which claims that a deceased passenger who fell overboard during one of their cruises was overserved alcohol and that the cruise line waited too long to start search and rescue operations. The plaintiffs are the parents of the deceased man, Todd and Lisa Skokin of Omaha, Nebraska. They also accuse Royal Caribbean of intentionally causing the family emotional distress by reporting that this man intentionally committed suicide, even though multiple eyewitnesses had already told Royal Caribbean that this was accidental. Apparently, this man had been served a tremendous amount of alcohol, had gone up onto the 12th deck of the Independence of the Seas with a group of people he met on the ship. Somebody joked around about throwing themselves overboard. He jumped up on a railing as if to do that, joking around, but then lost his balance and fell over. The article on the Diz with the specifics of this lawsuit outline how much alcohol this man was served, and it's extraordinary the amount of drinks this man had been served on that ship. In addition to this, the parents are saying that once the search and rescue started, they were sequestered into their stateroom with a guard posted outside. They were not allowed to leave their stateroom again until the ship returned to port. They're saying that it took an hour and a half to 2 hours before a search and rescue began. And so Royal Caribbean had asked for this suit to be dismissed. A judge took a look at it and said, absolutely not. This absolutely can go forward. So this this could be a real black eye for Royal Caribbean. Like I said, November 13th, that trial is set to start. We'll let you know how that goes. Over on the Diz today, our featured article comes from contributor Amanda Campbell with a response to actress Keira Knightley's characterization of Ariel in The Little Mermaid. Knightley recently commented in an interview with the BBC that she is banning her daughter from watching Cinderella or The Little Mermaid, saying, quote, "I mean, the songs are great, but do not give your voice up for a man," end quote. Amanda takes exception in a great article you can find on wdwinfo.com. And just a reminder, each week our staff writers all publish their own columns. And this week is Charles Boda's turn with Charles's Parks in Perspective. You can find those articles on the homepage of the Diz every Wednesday at wdwinfo.com. Over on the boards today, a thread is trending. And I'm so happy, by the way, that I have some really great stuff to talk about in today's fix. Usually, like the last couple months, doing the fix on Monday has been a chore because I can't find anything good. Got a lot of good stuff. This is another good one. Over on the restaurants forum on dizboards.com, a thread entitled, "Can you share a place you couldn't wait to eat but was a huge letdown?" Started by Captain David Hook. And in the thread, he's looking for folks to share their experiences of restaurants they were very, very excited to experience, but then once they did, they were let down by the restaurant. So head over to the restaurants forum on dizboards.com for that. Over on the Diz Unplugged YouTube channel today, dizunplugged.com, youtube.com/dizunplugged, we are launching a limited series called Masters of Magic. We're taking a look at some of the folks behind the scenes at Disneyland. This week we talked to Mark, who is a parade float driver, and he takes us backstage to show us what goes into driving floats for the parades at Disneyland. We have 4 of these produced, and one will go up each Monday for the next 4 weeks. So head over to youtube.com/dizunplugged to check that out. Finally, in the weather, it is finally starting to get nice here in Orlando. I was very happy when I got off the plane from California yesterday to find it was a nice, cool evening. The weather if you're heading into the parks in Orlando tomorrow, mostly cloudy skies with a high of 85 and a low of 68. Weather out in Anaheim, sunny with a high of 81 and a low of 58. You can find links to all these stories and more on our Daily Fix main page at wdwinfo.com/dailyfix. That will do it for me today, and I actually won't see you for a few weeks because I'm heading out to Honolulu and Tokyo next week. So that's it. I'll see you in a few weeks.